everybody, it's Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where we're counting down to the big game. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael Florio and LaQuan Jones. I know, fellas, that we can officially say Super Bowl because we work for the National Football League, but I just love like saying the big game, like we don't actually have the rights to do it.
I call it the big dance.
I won't lie, I didn't know that's why it gets called the big game until I started working here, and now I find it the funniest thing possible.
Yeah, I like my wife didn't know that until a few years ago, because I don't remember how it happened. We were watching a commercial for buying TVs or something like that, and I just kind of chuckled, and I explained it to her, and she's like, and now, sort of like you, now that she knows, like, she can't unhear it, sort of thing. So, yeah, obviously it is Super Bowl week. I guess happy Pro Bowl day, guys, for those who observe.
Shedeur Sanders Day.
Yeah, only because...
Yeah.
So, I didn't have this in the rundown. By the way, we're not really previewing the Super Bowl because we still got another show this week, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense at this point. In case you hear a little bit of background noise, that is because Florio is on Media Row right now. Glad you got a sick trip to San Francisco for the week to hang out.
See what you did there.
You like that? So, on Thursday's show, we'll obviously talk more about the game itself. We got some other news and just random things to kind of fill some time with. I did not put in the news that apparently Justin Fields said no to the Pro Bowl. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah,
he said he's going to take some time to work on his offseason training. My question is, did they ask him before or after they asked Shedeur Sanders? Like, I want to know. I need to know the timing of this. Like, right? Did they ask Justin Fields and he was like, no, so they said, Shedeur, come on down? Or was it like, hey, Shadeur's here, Justin, you want to come? And he's like, nah, bruh. Like, that's what I want to know. That is really what I want to know. Anyway, a lot of things going on in terms of coaching. Still getting coaching hires. A couple of the big ones. First, the Cardinals have hired Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur to be their new head coach. So, LaQuan, I have a couple questions of you. One, does this mean you have to pay attention to the Cardinals? And two, is Mike LaFleur dead to you now?
No, Mike LaFleur is not dead to me. No, this happens like every year. I mean, honestly,
he went to the Ops.
Yeah, he did go to the Ops. But listen, I do feel like Mike LaFleur, he's kind of earned his path to being head coach now, but we always see our coaching staff get picked apart. But him going to the Cardinals, I still feel the same way I have before or after him. It's, like we're playing the game together, but they're the little brothers of the division. They're controllers unplugged. So, it's just kind of like, hey, we'll see what he's able to do there.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I wanted to ask LaQuan, so I know you say they're the little brothers and stuff, but if they suddenly become good under his leadership, how does that change?
I mean, look, they still need a quarterback. There's so many roster holes there, right? They need a running back. They need to figure out that defense. So I don't think this is going to be like year one coming out, chin check the older brother. Like you see the younger brother who has some strength on him now. Like, oh, no. I think it'll be more so like 5 to 8 wins max, like if they beat us in one game, it'd be like, okay, cool. You guys are, you're getting some things together, but we'll see.
Do you think he asked the team who took the bus and who drove?
Who drove?
No. He's going to make McVay proud. I'm actually happy for him, though. Mike LaFleur's been rocking with us for a while now, man. So I'm expecting him to make some moves over there, and they just got to figure out the biggest question, like who's their quarterback? That is
the biggest question, right? Is, obviously the Kyler Murray era is done. You look around, and now the question is, where does he get traded to? Who or what in terms of assets do the Cardinals get back in return? That is kind of the big question. I don't know, Florio, if there are any easy answers to that question right now, because the draft class is not considered to be particularly deep. The free agent class is not particularly good. This just feels like they might have to just eat it for a year and then figure out their quarterback situation, like for real in like 2027.
Yeah, because it's funny because all the teams that need quarterbacks were like, Kyler might be interesting there, but we clearly don't want him in Arizona. Two names came to mind though, right? Give Jacoby a chance. Just let him see what he could do. Or A name that I've already brought up a lot this offseason.
Oh my
Malik Willis.
This dude's playing everywhere.
Who better than the guy who coached up Malik Willis the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I guess so. Like, right? If you're Mike LaFleur, just call up your brother Matt, get a scouting report on Malik Willis, right? Like, what does he do well? Where does he need help? I guess that's an easy way to go. I saw LaQuan as I was researching and preparing for the show.
I had questions about this question.
So I was doing some research and just looking up Kyler and seeing what the news was about him. And I see a lot of rumors. It's all rumor, right? Like none of this is substantiated, but rumors about potential trade destinations. And one of the ones that sort of raised my eyebrow a little bit was the Miami Dolphins, because the Dolphins are in essence done with Tua Tagovailoa. The Cardinals are done with Kyler Murray. Would you make a swap? And especially if you're the Cardinals, you have an out. There's an out in Tua's contract after this year. Yeah. Kyler, I think there's still a couple more years before you can sort of reasonably get out from underneath his contract. So, I mean, LQ, if you're the Cardinals, would you bring in Tua? Look, if you can coach him up and maybe get him back to where he was, then great. If not, you just cut ties after a year.
I gotta say, if I'm Mike LaFleur and you bring this to the table as an option, I'm probably gonna keep Kyler. And to be honest,
that is not the answer I was expecting.
But I got to be honest, Tua, to me, we've seen the best of him in 2023, and it's now 2026. He has the risk factor that, we honestly going to keep in the back of our mind every time he goes on that field. I don't know if I'm getting my first head coaching gig. If I'm trying to rebuild and fill some holes on the roster, I'm going to do that with Tua that has not played good football in the last couple of seasons. To be honest, I'd rather Kyler where you can kind of remotivate him, play to his strengths, because we had a defensive coach in Jonathan Gannon trying to Michael Scott his way into Kyler's life to be motivated to go out there and play football. But I would rather have Kyler, because at least with Mike LaFleur, he's coming from the McVay tree. He's coming from, basically so many years under McVay to understand what works for him, like the play action, pre-snap motion. That's going to be a lot what Mike LaFleur is going to bring over there for the Cardinals, and that may work for Kyler to kind of get the ball out fast and kind of get to his targets and move the pocket around because he's mobile. So it's the fit is kind of there, but the guys up top, the organization, they've already kind of signaled they're done with Kyler. But if it's Kyler or Tua and it's on the table for me, I'm going to stick with Kyler.
I mean, I guess, but I don't know. The things that he talked about, Florio, in terms of pre-snap motion, play action, getting the ball out quickly, those are already things Tua does. I guess I'm just looking at it more as which of the two can I sort of move on from faster?
Yeah.
Right? And I guess that's sort of my thing there. Although I guess that brings us back to Jacoby Brissett. Right?
Hey, I'm for that. If that's an option on the table, give me Brissett over both of them. To be honest.
Look, if they go the Tua route, they're basically guaranteeing LaFleur, we don't care what your record is this year. We're going to reset everything the year after. But as LaQuan was talking, I was I do wonder if they brought in an offensive coach to try to get the most out of Kyler, right? He's their franchise guy. They've paid him a bunch of money. I know the last couple of years hasn't been great, but there was once a time where Kyler was really fun and exciting. That guy got completely just taken away in the last couple of years with the Cardinals, but maybe they're here and they're being I can get the most out of Kyler. There's untapped, because I still believe there's some untapped potential there. I don't know if we ever see it, but he's too talented to be what he has been the last couple of years.
I feel like we aren't going to see it anymore. I feel like we've seen peak Kyler just because it seems like he just doesn't want to run anymore. And that's what made him exciting and fun and productive, is because he gave you that element of, hey man, we have to account for this guy getting out of the pocket and being a playmaker. Kyler Murray is not going to succeed. Here's it. Kyler Murray can't play like Matt Stafford, right? He can't stand in the pocket and just sling the ball all over the yard.
I was waiting for it.
I was quickly triggered. I'm
not insulting him. Look, it's not an insult. They are two different styles of play, right? Stafford thrives as a pocket passer. That's what he does. I mean, the dude had literally 1 rushing yard all season long. He is a pocket passer.
Elite.
Right? Kyler is just not, he's not going to thrive that way. And look, I don't know, pick your reasoning, right? Pick, whether it's a height issue, whether it's an arm strength issue, whether it's just an arm talent and accuracy issue, like take your pick. He just can't do that. But if he really is resigned to trying to be that guy, I don't know, then I think we've seen peak Kyler already.
1 rushing yard is diabolical, by the way.
It's kind of wild.
With a back injury, 37 years old, I'm wishing he had 0.
Look, he turned it on in the playoffs. He ran for 15, so...
He had 2 of them on 1 play. It was wild,
I screamed. I was like, get down! Please, don't do that.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel like unless we get a return to rushing Kyler Murray, and I don't even need it to be, was it 2000 when he ran for 800 yards? Like, I don't even need it to be that version of Kyler. But if we can get
2020, yeah.
Right, if we can get 400 rushing yards out of Kyler.
You're telling me he peaked as a runner his second year? Like, that's kind of alarming. Like, it's one of those things like, all right, well, that was great. Why didn't you do it again? Like, what's stopping you? Because, like, it's you controlling your destiny in running. It's like, were you scared to get injured again? I don't know. Like, he just wasn't the same after his major injury.
He had 11 rushing touchdowns that year, too.
Elite. That's why we were drafting him as a top 5 quarterback that following year. And then,
I don't know. I'm just looking like he's never put both the passing and the running together in the same season, aside from 2020, right? Either he's had the years where he's thrown for a decent amount of yards, but hasn't run. He's had years where he's run for 500 yards, but the passing side of it wasn't there. He's also never thrown more than 26 touchdowns in a season. It just has never really come together. And I don't know that, in year 8 at 29 years old. I mean, look, Sam Arnold is in the Super Bowl, right? After all these years.
Yeah, can't write him off. I mean,
Sam Darnold's never changed his style of play. Like, Sam Darnold has always played the same style of ball. He's never changed who he is. So I don't know. I think Kyler is who he is.
I know he's 28 now, Sam Darnold, but he broke out a little bit earlier, right? Like, if you're going into your age 29 season being like, maybe this is the year that
it's probably not the year. It's probably not the year. Yeah, that's true. Meanwhile, staying in the Southwest, the Raiders look like they are ready to hire Klint Kubiak as their next head coach. Of course, Klint has some business to take care of. He is coaching in the Super Bowl as the Seahawks offensive coordinator this week. But, Florio, the consensus right now when you look at mock drafts is that the Raiders are taking Fernando Mendoza, number 1, the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback who led Indiana to an undefeated season, a national championship. So, presuming this is what's going to happen, if we were doing a fantasy draft right now, 1, are you taking Fernando Mendoza? And 2, where are you taking him?
I personally would not be going in looking to take Fernando Mendoza. So to me, where he fits is in best balls. Like, if you're trying to make him your QB2, or maybe you go 3 QBs, something like that, and you have a Raider stack, right? Like, you pair him with Brock Bowers or something like that. But he can run. I'm not going to say he can't run, but it's not elite, he'll give you Justin Herbert type rushing yards where it's that helps his fantasy value a bit, but it doesn't really push him over the top. Plus, we know by now that you shouldn't expect huge pass numbers from rookies. Plus, as excited as I am for Kubiak and the weapons around that are there, they need to rebuild that O-line. We don't know what that is going to look like. I know they have a lot of money. I know they have a lot of picks, but to me, how I view Mendoza, at least as of today, is he's going to help Brock Bowers' stock and Ashton Genty's stock and the receiver stock, whatever that room might look like after free agency in the draft, more than I am interested in taking him himself.
Somebody described the Raiders' offensive line as being like the ribbon you run through at the end of a marathon. That took me out for a little while. That took me out for a little bit. I know you can't necessarily judge somebody on, and I think I said this earlier, you can't judge them on one game, but just, again, watching him in the national championship game, seeing him against kind of high-level competition, he was good, not great, not elite, and I just don't know how it translates necessarily immediately in the NFL. Maybe with a year or two of seasoning, we can think other things about him, but, I'm kind of with you. I think Fernando Mendoza he is a best ball guy, he is a draft, like a last pick of the draft and hope, fingers crossed sort of thing. But I don't know that I'm counting on Fernando Mendoza to be the guy for my fantasy roster in 2026/2027. Some more coaching news to get to. A couple of coordinator moves. One of them happening just before we started recording this podcast. That is the Giants, the New York football variety, hiring Matt Nagy as their offensive coordinator.
Hey.
Are you really excited about that, LaQuan? Like, I saw it, I just kind of, I just saw it, I just kind of shrugged. I was like, okay, that's a thing.
I'm not like over the top excited. Like, this ain't like, I would say like the best hire, the best available. I would say like, okay, this is a move where he's taking a lateral job and we know some of his tendencies, right? Like when Cam Scatterboo is healthy and he is going to be the starter, and I think Tracy plays a role as a 1-2 punch, there's going to be a lot of targets on the table for him because I think his main objective coming in is to save Jackson Dart from Jackson Dart. So he needs to find ways for he can play the flats and make quick passes. And everything that Matt Nagy was doing with Trubisky in Chicago was kind of like protecting him and not making him make the difficult mistakes of throwing downfield to basically nobody. But here's the difference. You have Malik Neighbors, which we hope will be up and ready for week 1. You have, draft stock where you can bring in another weapon. You have somewhat money that you can create in signing bonuses and et cetera, and trying to rework that cap where there's opportunity for Matt Nagy to have a serviceable offense. But it all comes down to Jackson Dart not being the reckless player that we saw last year, because if you're going to be throwing in backup quarterbacks, replacements and getting guys off the reserve, like it's like one of those things where Matt Nagy's going to be working with a tornado of a mess of a roster.
Florio, you are, for this show, we all like Cam Scatterboo. You are definitely the biggest Jackson Dart guy here. You're probably the biggest Malik Neighbors guy on this show as well. Does this do anything for you, having Matt Nagy there?
My initial reaction was, ugh. So take of that what you will.
I guess no.
But even more than that, it's something I'm going to make myself proud. And these two might be the hardest for me, but I'm really going to try to avoid players coming off of severe injuries because not only do we not know exactly when, like, are they going to be ready to start the year? We'll know more of that come the summer, but like we've seen these players coming off of severe injuries, one, get ramped up slowly, and that does hurt early in the year when you're trying to stack wins. And even more than that, so, like, they'll have a big game and then they'll vanish for a couple weeks, and it's just kind of up and down. So I'm sure if I see like a highlight of Malik Neighbors doing Malik Neighbors things in the summer, I'll probably be back in. But as of today, I'm kind of trying to avoid these players that are coming off of such severe injuries.
I sort of look at the history of Matt Nagy, and generally his offenses have been sort of mid, right? Serviceable. He had, so his first OC job was 2017. He had Alex Smith in what was a career year for Alex Smith. It was that was Patrick Mahomes' rookie year, where he played that last regular season game. They just wanted to get him some seasoning. He played the last regular season game. And then after that, Nagy went on to Chicago, was the head coach for a few years, and again was serviceable, right? His best offensive year, one of them, was his best years of in terms of the passing game was 2020, which I think there's a conversation to be had, not today, but in the future about the 2020 season, because if you go back, there's so many outliers from that 20. It was just such a weird year. I know, obviously COVID had it, but there's so many weird things that it's almost like we should just put an asterisk next to 2020 because there's just so many things that happened that year.
Yeah, like the NBA with the bubble, right? Like nobody really counts
except for the Dodgers World Series title. That's absolutely real and cannot be questioned.
The NBA bubble is my favorite sports thing I think I've ever seen. It was games all day long. It was amazing.
I mean, it gave us lemon pepper Lou. That's I will forever be thankful to the bubble for lemon pepper Lou. But like generally speaking, like the Matt Nagy offenses have not really been super exciting. The last 3 years, he was back in Kansas City as the OC, which, you know, were the 3 years in which we really started to question Patrick Mahomes as a fantasy quarterback because the pieces were so different there. It's just a whole weird thing. So, you know, I don't know. It just didn't really move the needle much for me.
And look, they could say it was a mutual parting of ways and stuff. It wasn't. Like, they went back to their ex. They were like, yo, we need you back. Like, we were better with you. And then Nagy got, like, if you think Matt Nagy was like, you know what, I'm going to leave Patrick Mahomes to go work with Jackson Dart, you're crazy.
Well, he's technically going back home because Matt Nagy's a Jersey guy, big Jersey salute. That's why I can never throw him completely under the bus. But if you tell me and give me the option, I get to work with Jackson Dart and I get to go home. Why not? I'll do that.
I mean, there's definitely pieces to work with. Like, I don't want to make it seem like, it's all bad. There's definitely things that are intriguing there. Plus, look, he gets to work with John Harbaugh, right? And you get a respected coach who brings stability, gives you some optimism, has had success. So there are definitely upsides to it. But when I saw that they were hiring Matt Nagy, it was kind of like, oh, okay.
It kind of felt like it was just like, all right, because they wanted Monken. Like, that was very clear. So, and Nagy wanted like the Titans job, so it kind of seemed like they both were like, "You still free? All right, I guess we can make this work.
I guess we can make this happen. We'll make it work. We'll make it work for sure." Meanwhile, in Denver, Davis Webb, who was getting some head coaching interviews, including with your Buffalo Bills, Florio, he has been promoted to offensive coordinator from quarterbacks coach for the Broncos, taking over for Joe Lombardi, who was let go. LaQuan, you're a big RJ Harvey guy. You're a big Pat Bryant guy, if he could stay healthy. Does anything change? I mean, like, moving from quarterbacks coach to coordinator, I know it's a step up in responsibilities and visibility, but, like, do you think anything significantly changes for the Broncos offense and those guys in particular?
Not really, because, like, you're promoting a guy that, in Sean Payton's eyes, he can digest and, go out there and teach the ways of the offense that Sean Payton kind of wants to form and mold it. So it's a good in-house hire. Again, like, it's somebody that's going from a quarterback coach to an offensive coordinator. It's a backup quarterback getting the quarterback coaching job now to an offensive coordinator. We've seen this move plenty of times this season, right? I mean, David Blau with the Commanders, and we're seeing Sean Mannion. I mean, former Ram backup quarterback. I mean, the backup quarterbacks are out here getting these jobs, and now they're starting to call the shots in the field. So I honestly look at it as like, okay, we're going to see something similar. I just hope we don't get away from RJ Harvey, a Pat Bryant, a Troy Franklin, a Marvin Mims for, just straight a circus, a confusion, a chaos. Like what we saw this past season, like we saw them kind of being rotational players, but let's not get too crazy. Let's not try to get in there and get cute. I like what I saw in terms of usage in Pat Bryant, his development. I like what I seen out of Troy Franklin this season. My guy was more fantasy relevant than Courtland Sutton for X amount of weeks at some point midway of the season. So it's like we have these staples in. Don't get in there cute and start messing things up and trying to put your own sauce and flavor in there.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Yes.
Who's calling the plays? Because look, I know they got rid of Lombardi and they got rid of their pass game coordinator and stuff, but like Sean Payton, you were the one calling the plays. Like, you went for it on 4th and 1. You called that play. So, like, I know they wanted to promote Webb to kind of keep him in-house because he was becoming very, very popular. But, like, if it's Sean Payton calling the plays again, I don't know if anything changes.
That's fair. Yeah, and so then that sort of does make me wonder, how excited do we get about Davis Webb at OC if he's not the one? It's sort of, it's like whoever becomes the OC of whoever is the OC of the Chiefs, right? It's like, cool. You sort of kind of contributed on the group project, but we know that it's Andy Reid that's doing the bulk of the work, and I guess the same thing potentially applies in Denver. Like, hey man, like, I'm glad hey, Davis Webb, you're going to come in and you get to, sprinkle a little salt and pepper in the pot. Yeah. but you're not the one who's doing
McVay's OCs are the only ones who don't get that penalty, you know? Like, he's calling the plays, but they're always like, you know what? You breathe next to McVay. We want you.
But it's their job to get the younger players to practice squad players and all these developments of said system. So, like, you're standing next to McVay, hearing him and understanding what he wants, and you're having to spew that out for the younger players to go out there to understand and execute.
But you don't think that happens with other teams and other coaching staffs?
Andy Reid.
Not to mention that let's keep it a buck here, and you're going to get triggered, but the McVay coaching tree has been sort of mid.
I'm not going to get triggered.
Like, it's been
not McVay. It's not McVay.
I get it.
KOC is great.
Outside of KOC, we claim Zach Taylor. He made it to the Super Bowl. And then after that, Nick Haley in Houston last season wasn't great. Like, even though he's kind of a Belichick guy, but like still, it's like I get the mid called, I get the mid badge, but it ain't McVay. He's not the problem. He's just
no. Obviously, McVay is very good at his job. I mean, Bill Belichick was very good at his job. Apparently, not good enough to get in the Hall of Fame, but good at it. Was very good at his job. The Belichick coaching tree has been a disaster, right?
Oh yeah, and I think it's by design.
Maybe, like Zach Robinson. We're still trying to figure out, like, hey man, like, what is Zach Robinson? Like, it's been kind of mid.
LQ, do you claim Raheem Morris?
Yes, big jersey. Absolutely.
He went to the ops, though.
He's with the ops now.
It's all right. I understand. You go to the 40 Winers, you need a job, my brother. It's understood, man. Go out there and do your thing. But I ain't scared of no Raheem Morris defense. I mean, to be honest, like, he got Aaron Donald, man. You got the best out of Aaron Donald. And then you had Jalen Ramsey. Like, of course you were going to go out there and ball.
He's going to have a healthy Nick Bosa and a healthy Fred Warner.
Look, this is completely off topic, but I spoke to Ernest Jones, and he said that it meant a lot to beat the Rams.
I sure did, because we didn't pay him and we casted him off, but it's fine. You went to the op, you did your thing.
I was asking that question a lot to the Seahawks, like, did it mean more to face your rivals? And, they're like, yeah, we play those. And his face lit up. He was like, yes, it did. Like,
he hates the Rams. I get it. Cam Akers, he hates the Rams. I get it. I understand. It's fine. But you know what? We'll be back here next year, and then we'll see. We'll see.
Fair.
All right. Anyway, that's the coaching news du jour. There may be more. I know there have been other OCs that are sort of getting chatted up and maybe moving places, whatever. We'll get to that. At some point, though, I do think we should do a show in the offseason about the coordinator hires and kind of what this means. Maybe, kind of break those down for a little bit. Obviously, it's kind of a dead week in terms of what's happening. There's literally only one actual real tackle football game left in this season.
I like how you served that.
Tackle football. One tackle football game left this season. That's it. We'll talk about the flag football game a little bit later.
Two-hand touch.
So there's not much to talk about, but I did find a couple of stories that I thought were interesting. The first one that really caught my eye. Justin Jefferson recently said, quote, "I definitely felt like we would have done better," end quote, "if Sam Darnold returned." I don't think he's breaking any news there, right? I mean, with Sam Darnold the year before, they were 14-3. They made a legit playoff run. Like, yeah, Darnold had the worst game of his season, maybe at the worst possible time for the Vikings, but, like, I don't think that's a big argument. But, Florio, were you surprised that he would say it out loud?
Yes, but I respect it. I love it. Like, I wish athletes took this approach more. But I also will say I think it's a little bit because they just fired their GM, and the reports were that KOC wanted Sam Darnold back and didn't want to hand it over to JJ. Now, we're not in the building. We can't speak on that 100%. But if KOC is feeling this way, I guarantee you he spoke to Justin Jefferson. And, like, this is probably, I'm sure, this is me speculating here, but, like, would you guys be surprised if you found out, like, Justin Jefferson and KOC are being, like LeBron pointing at Jalen Smith, like, at some of these bad JJ plays. So, like, yeah, I think there's just a lot of frustration, especially because Sam's in the Super Bowl, right? And the Vikings were so close last year, not to the Super Bowl, but, like, we thought they were contenders, and you could have been again. You have it, like, especially for someone like Justin Jefferson, who I know he's great and he's going to be great for a while, but, like, NFL careers are short, man, and like he's trying to be one of the greatest of all time, and like playoff success matters, and regular and wide receivers more than any position are judged on stats, and he had by far his worst year because of the quarterback plays. So while I'm surprised to hear him say it, I think if you gave him truth serum, he'd probably say a whole lot worse.
Well, that's the other part of this, though, right? Because I read through all the quotes, and look, I get it. It's different reading them versus hearing them because you don't necessarily hear the tone in which he's saying or whatever. But he didn't openly trash J.J. McCarthy. And, you know, one of the things he said, he's like, look, I'm happy for Sam. I want to see him do well. I hope they win it. He's like, selfishly, I wish he'd have been doing this for us. But like it seemed like he was more complimentary of Sam than necessarily hammering his current quarterback. But I mean, he just spoke some truth. It's like, yeah, you know, it wasn't always great. You know, the quarterback play wasn't always great. And like, again, I don't think that's necessarily trashing your guy. I think it's just speaking what we all saw. Like, we all watched it. But that being said, LQ, I mean, Florio pointed it out. I think coming into this year, we kind of felt like, well, Justin Jefferson can just make anybody better, right? 2 years ago, we were all like, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's going to do with Sam Darnold. And then he was just fine. So this year, we're like, all right, well, maybe it's going to be just fine. And it really wasn't. So, assuming a healthy J.J. McCarthy is your week 1 starter and your QB1 in Minnesota, like, what do we expect for Justin Jefferson? Are we drafting him? We're not drafting him first round, right? What are we doing with him?
I think folks are still going to paint that picture to draft him in the first round, which I respect because, again, you can paint the picture that target share is king, you know, and I feel like when volume is king, how valuable are these targets going to be? And we've seen J.J. McCarthy last season. We all seen it with our eyes. But I will play the other side to throw him some slack, okay? Justin Jefferson dealt with a hamstring injury all summer long. That is time missed with his starting quarterback. Those are valuable weeks where it's like, hey, you're not building that chemistry where J.J. McCarthy, where we've seen at times this season that Jordan Addison was his guy. Jalen Naylor was his guy. T.J. Hawkinson played the middle. He wasn't that, you know, as impactful last season. And I just feel like if you're not on the field building this chemistry with your young quarterback, I get your frustrations, but man, you have to be there and available. So now that we're going into this next season, my expectations for Justin Jefferson, me personally, I see him going in that 110 to 112 spot. He still has a first round grade, but who is going to feel good about that? Like, who's going to feel like they have the confidence that they have as if it was a Sam Darnold or another veteran there? J.J. McCarthy, to me, we have to hear reports that he is playing 10 times better than what he was last summer. We need to hear reports that, you know, the chemistry between him and Justin Jefferson are top tier A level. Justin Jefferson's back. I need the workout videos. Like, I need to be hyped up about this, but at the sudden moment right now, there is no interest whatsoever for Justin Jefferson to be a wide receiver 1.
I mean, target share matters a lot, obviously. But I think we also have to caveat that with quality targets, catchable targets. Because Justin Jefferson got a lot of targets. He needed a ladder to catch half of them last year.
You're in the parking lot.
Right.
You caught one.
Which, the thing that always broke my brain from this past season was it just seemed like McCarthy was on target throwing to everybody else except Justin Jefferson. It was like he was trying to use the force when he threw it anywhere near JJ. Like, I didn't understand it. So, like, I think that is the argument I'm going to wrestle with is, okay, sure, if he's getting a 25% target share, that's awesome. But if, you know, of that target share, only 60% of them are catchable targets,
yeah,
like, what is that really getting me? That's what I don't know.
Not much. It's kind of like how Drake London was with Arthur Smith in Atlanta. It was like, yeah, his 35% target share looks great, but he has 1,005 yards and only like 60 catches. Great. Nice.
I think they want to bring someone in to kind of compete with Jay. Like, you cannot go into next season being like, JJ is our guy.
Don't say Voldemort.
But
no, I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going.
Who is the option, right? Because I don't think you want to go with someone who you're
Malik
like
Willis.
But see, I think Malik Willis is. Whoever signs him, I think is signing him to give him a kind of JJ opportunity, right? To see what he could be. Like, I look at the free agents. It's not going to be Daniel Jones. It's not going to be Voldemort, it seems. Russell Wilson, like Tyrod Taylor, like it gets ugly quick at free agent this year. Quarterback
Jones
and Jacoby Brissett are two that I think make sense.
Mac Jones might win that competition.
Yeah,
yes.
If they go in, this sounds crazy, right? But if the Vikings add Mac Jones and they go into him this season with him as a starter, I'm pushing JJ back up to where he was going last year. But if it's JJ McCarthy, I agree with LaQuan. I don't really want to take him in the first round.
No.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, no, I really do think. I think if Mac Jones is there, I think he wins that competition.
Bro, if it's Mac Jones, I'm being just as loud for Mac Jones as I was for Daniel Jones this last season. Like, I'm saying top 12 or more because Mac Jones showed us that he can play. It doesn't matter who's out there. The JV players that the 49ers pushed out there, he made them look like top tier players, like top class.
Would you do that if his name was Mac Florio?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
If he was Mac Florio from like Montana.
Right.
I don't know. Does he play the same way? I don't know. He doesn't have that same swagger. I mean, Mac got swag, man.
Mac has Temu swag. I mean, like I appreciate what he did for I appreciate what he did for the 49ers, but like let's keep it a buck. That suit he wore, that two-faced suit he wore.
Yo, I'm about to say two-faced.
Like,
it wasn't pretty.
That was not great. It was not great.
It looked cool though.
I mean, that suit he wore on draft night with like the meme walk, where like he looked like he was on his way to
don't skip over Duval. Come on, man.
He looked like he was on his way to close a real estate deal. I mean, let's keep it a buck here, right? He had just sold somebody a condo and was like all excited to go sign the paperwork. Like that's what it looked like, you know.
How crazy is it though that we're like Mac would be the savior? Like that speaks of him, JJ.
Come on, Mac and KOC. It's selling tickets. I'm there. I'm there.
Jacoby, put Kyler there. Like, I just think I think the Vikings are too good to give JJ. Like, I think JJ deserves another shot, but I think the Vikings are too good to be that team.
That's the issue, is that they are in kind of a win now mode, right? Like they have enough talent on that roster to win now. They should be battling it out legitimately with the Bears and the Packers for the top of the division, and you just never really got that feeling from them. They got hot at the end of the year, but at that point it just felt like they were sort of out of it, you know.
They finished over 500. I tweeted out at the end of the year, it was like the Ravens and Lamar did not beat a winning team this year. And people were like, well, the Vikings had a winning record. And I was like, no, I'm not counting that. They were like 4-8. I'm not counting them just because they won games late in the year.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I do think Justin Jefferson is going to be an interesting conversation as we figure out kind of what the quarterback situation is and whether or not we get the development we hope for from J.J. McCarthy. Like, maybe he's the guy. We just need him to be better.
After the Super Bowl, let's do another mock, right? And let's do like 2 rounds. Like, I kind of want to see where he would probably fit in that second round where you feel comfortable. Like, because like I said, I could see somebody painting the picture at the 110. Right, but you're definitely wrapping around getting another wide receiver at that point. You're not going running back because you could burn yourself just sitting there with just JJ. So I'm just curious of where we could try to paint him at.
If he falls to round 2, I'll probably take a lot of.
I'll snap that up. Yeah. I'll snap that up. Which, side note to this, I am actually going to be in a mock draft later this week. Our pal Bob Harris, football diehards, they put up a mock draft. So I'll be in that. So like I will definitely, screenshot it or save it so that that's a thing we can talk about too. We'll definitely do our own, but also have that one too with a whole bunch of different people from across the industry, so we can talk about that. Other interesting headline I saw: Nico Collins sticking by his guy C.J. Stroud, saying, "quote Dude's a baller." LaQuan, what are the Texans?
A complete mess. I mean, they have no identity. It's like, man, what are we doing here? Like we talked about earlier on the pods of where they have, 2 guys that are basically prototypes of the same player, like Nico and Jay Higgins, and then you have Christian Kirk, and then you have Jalen Noel. Like, it's just, what are we doing here? And, like, there wasn't much of C.J. Stroud that we saw this season that we could say, hey, you are moving on the upward. Like, we kind of seen the 2023 season, the historic season that he had, but now we're at this point questioning, is he good at the quarterback position? Like, we're questioning, is it him? Now we're questioning, do they even pick up his 5th-year option? And it's like, Is it him or is it everything around him? You have a mid-tier run game. Your O-line was in shambles for the last 2 seasons where there's been no consistencies there. The play calling, up and down every week. You want to do different things and then try new things on the job. And it's like, what are we expecting when he doesn't have no type of consistent passing game? Like, as an offensive coordinator, it's constantly changing. So I don't look at CJ as the top of the list as the problem. I look at everything else that's around of him. Like, how are we going to fix this O-line issue? How are we going to get this run game on par? Is Joe Mixon playing football next year? Like, he swears he is on his Instagram. Like, he's out here tweeting and posting on Instagram stories that he's ready for revenge. And all the pictures that he is posting is with CJ Stroud. So
revenge against
Nico,
who?
Himself,
like, right? Himself? Like, I don't.
Like, no one did him wrong, you know?
Yeah, but when you have guys like Nico still like propping up CJ to being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, when you have Joe Mixon out there in the fantasy streets, you know, posting stuff and saying that CJ Stroud is a good player, and like, you kind of have to look at everything else that's around him. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I want to believe that the CJ Stroud we've seen the last year, 2 years is not the real CJ Stroud. I'm not convinced that rookie year CJ Stroud is the real guy either. I think it's somewhere in between that, but I need that version of him to show up consistently before I can believe that.
They need Bobby back.
Well, Bobby ain't coming back.
Yeah, he's in Miami, but
the thing that made him special his rookie year was the deep ball, right? Like, that was what was his calling card, and then they just keep making that O-line worse. You know what you need to get the deep ball? You need time. And like that. Also, going back to college, I thought he struggled when under pressure, and the Texans for some reason were like, let's give you even more pressure. So they don't have a lot of cap, but whatever they have should go. Your defense is set. You got young wide receivers. Just build that O-line this offseason.
But look at last season, not the season that just passed. All the injuries he had to deal with at the wide receiver position. Nico, Tang, Diggs, like all his weapons went out at different times. And I forget the exact number where they only overlapped and played, what, like 2-3 games together?
Yeah,
it
was you could probably count on one hand the number of games they played together.
Come on, man. You cannot point at CJ as the problem. And that's kind of been the narrative this whole offseason of like, is he good at the position or not?
Also, are we being influenced by the last thing we saw of CJ Stroud, right? Like
Absolutely.
The last 2 games, like they survived that playoff game against the Steelers despite CJ Stroud being awful and just, you know, having fumbleitis of the worst degree. And then they lose because he kept throwing it to the wrong team.
5 interceptions in the playoffs is crazy. Right?
And I definitely think we are influenced by the last thing we saw. Recency bias, I think, does play into it. But, you know, also, though, there were just times when he just was not great during the season, especially in a fantasy context. It just was nothing exciting.
His game logs are so pedestrian. Like, not saying you judge him based on those, but, like, looking at his stats, like, 2 games with more than 2 touchdowns all year, a bunch with 1 or none, and then, like, barely any games over 250, like, he's better than this, and that's what makes it frustrating.
He's also not a consistent runner out of the pocket when his O-line is basically opening the doors to let hell through, and it's like he doesn't often take out. So it's like, if he's not going to run often, if he's not going to have time to even let the play develop, what are we honestly doing here? Like,
you mean when the marathon runners are coming through the tape at the end? Like that? That's what you're talking about? Yeah. Although, you know, here's the thing. He was never a runner. I mean, that was a thing coming out of college. Like, we knew CJ Stroud was not a runner.
He's like he has like Sam Darnold wheels. Like, he could take off if absolutely need if he has to. You know what I mean? Like, or Shedeur Sanders. Like, he's not the fastest guy and most elusive, but he can still get upfield if he needs to.
Right. And that's the thing. I think for guys like that, you just have to show that you're willing to do it a couple of times.
Yeah.
That alone will sort of slow down the pass rush. If they know that you can escape out the side door or whatever and just take off, then you got to sort of, you know, be a little bit more disciplined in your pass rush. If they just know you're going to stand back there, then they just go all out and they just come after you. And so maybe that's what CJ Stroud needs to do. Doesn't need to run for a lot.
He plays like a sneaky athlete. If we all know what that means and decode that.
He's a spark plug.
Is he a coach's son?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
First guy in, last guy out. Is that what we're talking about with CJ Stroud? All right. Cool.
Oh man, just run more, CJ. Run more.
Just run more, man. That's all we're asking. Anyway, the Pro Bowl is being played tonight. I will say this. I think it's a bad thing that like the general public seemed surprised. At least people on my timeline. It seems like there was a general like, oh, the Pro Bowl's on Tuesday? There was like very much a surprise that it's happening on Tuesday. And as far as I could tell, I don't think there's a skills competition.
No, are you serious?
I don't know. I was searching on our own company website, NFL.com, and I saw nothing that suggested a skills competition. There were articles about last year's skills competition, but I didn't see anything. Just a note that the Pro Bowl will be played on Tuesday night, and you can see it at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and NFL Plus. Subscription required for NFL Plus. Which, side note, I don't think they'll ever get rid of the Pro Bowl. But putting it on a Tuesday night seems like a concession from the league that they understand how people feel about it, right? That you know, like, I think they just understand, like, we'll put it on the Tuesday before the Super Bowl. It's kind of a dead period. You know, guys don't want to play. You know, Justin Fields is turning them down after the year he had. Like, I think that's a signal that
He said, nah, I got homework to do, which I understand. It's a school night.
He's got to bring his book bag.
He's got to bring his book bag, right?
No one knows why we're laughing.
Nobody knows exactly why we're laughing.
Behind the curtain, yeah. We were talking before the show. LaQuan asked Florio if he had a book bag, and I was like, I haven't heard that term since like I was in the 4th grade. Like I just, you know, I don't know. I called it a backpack. Like I understand it's the same thing. I just haven't heard anybody say book bag in a long time.
Knapsack.
I did see on Twitter, someone was like, if Justin Fields is turning down your version of an all-star game, it's time to pack it up.
It's probably time to
Go ahead and clock out, Chief.
Probably time to put it in the book bag and just move on with it. But because, you know, the NFL still wants to have an all-star game, I was thinking of an idea for it. A way to maybe sort of tweak it, right? Because that's the thing we see with all these all-star games, right? The NBA is on its like 15th different version of the all-star game. Yeah, and I don't think anybody likes nobody's liked any of the ideas, but they keep trying. You know, baseball has sort of tweaked it here and there. So my idea for the Pro Bowl is, all right, how about you take some of the, you know, name your Pro Bowl teams, get your Pro Bowl guys, but and keep it as a flag football game, but have your NFL All-Stars, your NFL Pro Bowl players play against some of the top professional flag football players out there. And it's twofold. Like, one, in a year like this year, next year, it's very much a way for the league to promote the fact that flag football is going to be in the Summer Olympics, right? That's a big initiative for the league, is hyping up flag football for the Olympics. But on top of it, like, the league has really made an initiative of trying to make flag football more of a thing, sponsoring it, especially for, you know, girls' leagues in high school, just to kind of get kids interested in football of any kind and really promoting the idea of flag football. So why not, you know, have your top-level guys, your NFL stars, playing against some of these stars of the flag football circuit? That way, the country sort of gets to know them a little bit more. I also think it allows you to sort of open up markets. Like, you know, I think people are going to feel uncomfortable. Like, they're going to feel uncomfortable having, you know, women play tackle football against NFL players, but you can play flag football and kind of open up that market as well. It's just a way to do that. I also am of the belief, and I may have said this on the show, I think I've said this to you guys in general, like, I don't love the idea of NFL players playing in the Olympics. Not because I think it'd be bad. Like, it's an easy sell if you're NBC, right? Hey, come watch Lamar Jackson and Bijan Robinson and Justin Jefferson, like, play flag football. That's an easy sell. What I like about having the professional flag football players play is that, for me, the Olympics is sort of a time to get to know athletes you probably wouldn't otherwise meet. And every year at the Olympics, you get these stars that you don't know, like, you've never seen them because you either don't follow their sport, Their sport only comes around every 4 years, something like that. It's cool to get to know these personalities. And I think if we put the NFL players in there, we sort of lose that. But again, I think if we make the Pro Bowl NFL stars versus flag football pros, I think you get to watch the stars play. You get to know another group of people that you probably otherwise wouldn't get to know.
I love that idea. I mean, how do we get you in the room with somebody to make these decisions and actually hear?
Well, I mean, I know Roger Goodell listens to this pod regularly. I don't know why he wouldn't.
I hope he doesn't listen to the whole hour because
listen to select parts of it, Raj. Don't listen to the whole thing, but listen to this part.
Yeah, this part. Kyrie, clip this part.
I do like your idea, Marcus. As you were explaining it, I was like, let's take it a step further, right? There's always rec league guys who think they could be in the pros. Let's have those guys face the Pro Bowlers.
Fantasy analysts in the world. Come on, the fastest fantasy.
Like once every 10 years, the league should set this up so that regular people are humbled to know that no, you cannot come off your couch and go in the league.
All the people on Twitter who think they could gain 10 yards like in an NFL game, right? All those folks should have to play.
Behind the Rams O-line, I got 12 yards for you. 12 yards.
Like in how many carries?
5 attempts. 5, 6
in 5?
5 or 6.
Like
5 or 6, I can get you 12.
I wish we could pay the Rams to make this happen.
Let's go. I'm telling you, bro. You guys doubted me that I could run a 5.58.
And I'm telling you, didn't.
Give me a couple months, I will get sub 5s.
It wasn't just said you could run a 5.58. You said you could run. You said you could run like a 4. You saying 4.6? Is that what you said? You could run a 4.6?
I said
there's
4.7.
There's a big difference between 5.58 and 4.6.
All right, we're gonna have the fantasy Olympics. No, we're gonna have the fantasy combine, and I'm going to beat my time that I just had a couple months.
I'm not saying you won't. I'm saying it's not gonna be 4.6 though.
Right.
4.7, 4.8.
And now you're saying you can get 12 yards in 5 carries.
5 to 6 attempts. Behind the Rams O-line, one of the best O-lines.
But I want like an O-line of dudes off the couch, right? Like it's just all dudes off the couch who think they could play in the league.
Okay, I'm gonna.
12 yards.
I'm gonna.
Can we make this a poll?
Okay, so I'm going back.
LaQuan got 5 carries behind the Rams O-line.
What week is this? Week 11. Week 11. Blake Corum had 10 yards on 8 carries. 10 yards on 8 carries.
I need
Blake Corum,
12 carries for 12 yards.
Actual professional football player who played behind the Rams offensive line. He had 10 yards on 8 carries.
What team was that?
Against the Seahawks.
No, I don't see. No, why would we go against the Seahawks? We need, maybe, I don't know. I can't even describe a defensive
How many carries and which team would you pick?
Jeez. I mean, we could take Houston off the board. We could take the Browns off the board.
All right, so let's see. So who had statistically the worst rushing defense was the Bengals. The Bengals were statistically the worst rushing defense.
Oh, yeah. Hit me in the outside zone scheme. Get me on the outside pitch. I am up the field at least.
So wait. So your 5.58 speed is going to beat the Bengals to the corner.
Yes.
So I'm putting this poll out right now. If Real Deal Fantasy got 10 carries behind the Rams' offensive line against the Bengals, would he get 12 yards?
12 yards.
Hang on. I'm looking up some things. You guys talk amongst yourselves while I try to.
You can't doubt me, man. I got off the pod couch and went downstairs with minimum stretching time and ran a 5.58.
You didn't do what you. But if you said I could run a 5.58, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. You said 4.6.
No, you guys are like 6 seconds. I even had people in my DMs and on the thread saying, oh, yeah, he's running like 7 seconds. That is O-lineman speed. You guys think I'm that slow? Come on.
It's just that we think offensive linemen are faster than people realize.
I just said no to 4.6. I said it would be above 5. I'm not down that you fast. I know you got regular 34-year-olds. You got speed for that guy, but you don't got 22-year-old NFL prospect speed.
Week 17, Imari DiMercado against the Bengals. 5 carries, 11 yards.
That's doable.
Jerome Ford in week 1, 6 carries, 8 yards.
Listen, give me the opportunity, and then we can measure from there, man. That's all I'm saying. I feel like I can get.
Bro, you have a family. I just don't want you to get hurt.
Here's my question.
You have two young children to think of.
The first 9 carries, you know? Like, you're going to get hit hard.
I just hope that Kevin Dotson, Rob Havenstein, they hold me down. Steve Avila, I hope they all hold me down in the trenches.
And by holding you down, they'll be like, hey, bro, stop. Like, that's what it'll be.
You got a family.
You got a family.
They depend on you.
Like, I don't want to see you. Like, I love your kids, man. They're awesome. I don't want to see them sitting on the sidelines being like, is daddy okay? Like, I don't want that. I don't.
Well, Mason will probably be laughing because he likes when I get hurt.
Honestly, yeah.
It's like Big Daddy, like you get hurt to make him feel better.
Yes, he will immediately stop whining and stop throwing a fit if I bump my knee or something, or get hit in the shin with a scooter. Like, this is real events that I've
friend of the show and a friend of real life, Mike at Daddy's Home FF on Twitter said you wouldn't get off the turf after the first carry for -6 yards.
I love doubters, baby. I love doubters. I ain't getting no negative yards. It's all positive game, man. My yards before contact will be a lot positive than people would think. Just understand I'm running behind one of the best old lines. They're going to hold me down.
Okay.
I love this conversation. This is definitely
I put it on Blue Sky and on Twitter. So
oh God,
we're going to get you can't make polls on Blue Sky, but I just posted it. I don't know, whatever it's called. But,
hey man, I think that's the official term.
Is it Marcus? Like, you know better than me.
That's sort of the official term. Yes, that is.
Marcus is the mayor of Blue Sky.
That's definitely not true. That is 100% not true. But it is. I don't really spend time on the other site.
I will say, Marcus, you champion for Blue Sky more than anyone I know.
Yeah, I don't hang out on the other. The only time I'm on the other site is if somebody sends me a link to it, but I don't actively go there.
I like getting. I like posting on the other site because people get angry very fast.
So here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
So before I know this conversation is dragging on. If you guys stuck with us, we appreciate it. Every time this conversation comes up, one of these conversations come up, I take a clip from the book Paper Lion, right? And if you don't know, Paper Lion was written by a man named George Plimpton back in the 60s. He was a reporter, and the Lions in like the mid 60s let him participate in training camp, right? And this was back in the 60s when like guys still had like regular jobs in the off season, right? Like they weren't training all year.
Mailmen.
So I'm going to read you the excerpt that I always post during these situations. They let him play quarterback in like a scrimmage, right? Set, I called out, my voice loud and astonishing to hear, as if it belonged to someone shouting into the ear holes of my helmet. 16, 66, 55, hut 1, hut 2, hut 3. And at 3, the ball slapped back into my palm. The lines cracked together with a yawp and smack of pads and gear, and I had the sense of quick, heavy movement as I turned for the backfield. Not having taken more than a step, I was hit hard from the side, and as I gasped, the ball was jarred loose.
That's what you think is going to happen to me?
This was in the 1960s when these guys were still something close to like regular people. Now, you're dealing with like the Hulk, but with flash speed. Like,
come on, man.
What?
Myles Garrett could snap me in half if he wanted to. I don't even deny it, you know?
Disqualified from this contest. No Browns players because that entire O-line. No Jaguars either. They're vicious as well. Like, I just feel like we got to go against the Bengals, and then we'll measure from there.
But, like, they're still professionals, man. The Bengals are bad relative to their peers.
You guys know me. You cannot break this confidence. If I put my mind to it, it's going to happen.
We cannot break the confidence. The body is a different question.
I want your wife to have a husband to come home to. I want your children to grow up with a father. That's all I want. I just want your quality of life to be okay. I just want you to have a good quality of life.
Have you guys watched Space Jam?
Maybe not kill, but hurt.
You know, like in the scene in Space Jam where they're all like because the Monstars are just like hammering them, like Tweety's like in a ICU type thing. Like, I don't want to see you like that.
I don't want to see you like that, man.
Come on.
Anyway, obviously he's going to stick with this. I appreciate your confidence. I just question your judgment. That's all. You guys have a winner for the Pro Bowl, AFC, NFC, flag football game?
NFC,
yeah. I think. The AFC's advantage is the quarterbacks, and they all said no.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Better rosters.
Quarterbacks are Shedeur Sanders and Joe Flacco. Joe Burrow. Is Joe Burrow actually going to play? I know he's on the roster as an alternate.
Joe Flacco, man. Wow.
Yeah,
man,
I don't know.
I hope he chalks it up. Is he going to officially retire? That's a conversation, bro.
He has not decided yet. I know he says he's still thinking about it. So we'll see.
Sleep.
I told you guys my idea, right? You sign Flacco, you sign Rivers, you sign Russ, all these old guys, Kirk Cousins, who could come in and give you a spark, and you just a month each.
And then you have the
That's
Rolling
it.
Stones play the national anthem. I mean, let's just go all the way old if we're gonna go old. Let's go all the way old. All right, that's enough yapping out of us. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll be back with you on Thursday when we will actually preview the Super Bowl, because then we'll be a couple days closer to the actual Super Bowl. So we'll get that done then. Enjoy San Francisco, Florio.
Thank you.
I did send you some.
Yep. See you soon.
All right, I did send you some restaurant recommendations, so you can have those in your back pocket. Enjoy, have a good time over in Chinatown and everywhere else there. So, in the meantime, for us, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, safe, and healthy. Do good and live well. Enjoy the week, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Thursday.